Okay. So when I say this, I don't want you to so I've been to a lot of conferences, I've been to a lot of different things that when they ask questions like this, they're like, "Oh, just get up 30 minutes earlier every day to do this
Mhm.
and this." I'm like, "Bullshit." Right? Like that's my bullshit because I'm sorry, but when you're our ages, sleep is a commodity. Like it is like a luxury.
Hot commodity.
Yes, it is. Literally. And so I don't want you to like don't go off on that part of it. But what I want you to think about and what I want you to write down is what is something that you do on a consistent basis? And when I say every day, it might be 5 out of 7. It might be that you do it when you can, but that there's mindfulness about it and it's a practice for you to ground and center, right? It might be like, don't think it's all got to be meditation and journaling, like it can be, but there are other things that you do to ground and center yourself. I shower every day because that is my like connection time, right? I take 20-minute showers and I hold no bone about it, right? Like if I go to my sister's or somebody else's, I cut it shorter because they got a hot water tank, but like that is my think time. So think about those things that you do to ground and center yourself. And I just want you to list them out. Like for me, I pull a card every day. This was my card today.
Beautiful.
It's a short list.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Carmen, you said you finished your ETA, right?
I finished what?
The ETA to get into Europe. I just was updating that while you guys were writing that down. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I did.
I can still
Okay.
hear you guys. I'm just going to get refill my water.
Yeah, no worries. So some of you is a short list. Doesn't matter if it was short or long, because if it packs a punch, right? Like I think about Joni, and I mean, she does a whole lot more than this, but at one point in time, all she did was sit in her hot tub. Like that was her thing to ground, right? And if that packs a punch, so be it. Right? For me, I walk the dog. I do my AO scanner every day. I put my red light therapy thing on every day. Like that helps to ground me, right? I pull a card every day. Now, I want you to think about what is something maybe that you have felt a nudge about doing to help ground and center yourself, right? Like, and it could be as simple as I do this every time I'm at a stoplight. I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to be open to? Every time I'm in line somewhere, I'm like, okay, for me, it's God. I'm like, okay, God, who am I supposed to meet? Where am I supposed to be? Like it's that constant channeling that I'm doing. So, is there anything that's been nudging you? Like, I'm not going to lie, for me, it's been journaling more so because I keep wanting to write these books. And the only way I'm going to write a book is if I sit down and mindful about writing, right? So, like, what's one thing that's been maybe nudging you to do to keep yourself grounded and centered?
Mine is using I have a calendar, daytime, or whatever you call it, and interacting with that a little bit more,
Okay.
like actually writing things down.
Okay, good. And so when you think about that, I'm going to ask all of you, what are some, well, wait a minute. Let me give you a minute to jot that down did you guys get it, Shireen and Pam? Okay.
I don't have one.
That's okay. You don't create one if you're not getting a nudge. What are some things that you do to keep yourself grounded and centered?
I write, I meditate.
Okay.
Not very often. I write more than I meditate.
Yeah, that's okay. The fact that you're even meditating, Pam, when I first met you, it was not on your purview,
Well,
man.
it's guided meditation, right? It's the Calm app. I don't do it by myself, but
Yeah, that's okay.
when I feel like I feel like I'm spiraling, I'm like, little 10-minute, just recentering, grounding, like just turn the noise off, right? And finding solitude is the other thing that I do, is that when it just gets to feel like too much, I just go find some solitude. And even if I'm playing on my phone or whatever, nobody else in the room, nobody breathing or being near me helps.
Yeah. Yeah, like packing the other day, right? You were talking about like you were gonna be home packing. Yeah. For me, it's nature, right? Like even after the VIP day, I found that rose garden outside of where the airport was that I was at. And I just went out there and sat. I couldn't sit for a huge amount of time. I sat for a couple of hours and walked around for a couple of hours because it was humid. I'm not used to humidity. You people that live in humidity. And but you know, like for me to get in nature or around water is really grounding. So what else do you guys do,
Yeah, I
Carmen?
don't know if you can see that. Nature
Yeah.
slash water.
So for my grounding and centering, so shower is also for me, and I do, it'd be rare for me to not take a shower in the morning. And so and then I have a whole practice I do in the shower. My coffee is quite the ritual, and just the moment and appreciation and gratitude and blessings for the day. I have a Saint Germain practice and statement that I do twice a day. I've started this morning mentoring thing. It's 3 minute little recorded thing by Mary Morrison. Um, hydration is one that I am doing and working to increase. And then I have a like kind of like Pam was talking about, like a comeback, like if I'm reeling or getting, like come back, bring it back. And for
Mm,
me, it can be some solitude, like Pam was saying, or just pick one thing and do it.
yeah.
Like today, I was like, you're going to fix breakfast, and you're not going to think about a to-do list or anything. Like you're just going to fix breakfast. All's good. It's 20 minutes. You're fine. And then I actually put TV at night. Sometimes I feel guilty about the TV at night because we watch a show to Carl and I together every night. But it is actually really, it comes from childhood, and that's what our family did. It was like the day has ended, we gather, we
Yeah.
sit, and it's almost like a communal. And I do not enjoy watching TV when Carl's not here. Like I would
Mm,
think that I would like, I get to watch whatever I want, but it's like, it doesn't even feel right, you know? So I'm like, it's not about the show, it's more about the winding the day down together.
yeah, nice. Yeah, I want to
And
come
my
back.
nudge is around 2 hours. Like there's this thing of like take 2 hours in the morning, and it can be to read or to meditate or slow practice, like there's something in that for me of
Did you say 2 hours?
mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Wow.
it doesn't show up as like, it shows
I'm
up
like,
as
you've
like
got
an
some spaciousness
awesome,
that I don't have.
yeah, well, it shows up as like an awesome opportunity, and just like what would come to me, or what would, what clarity would I get in the stillness. And then there's email, and then there's a start, and then there's a call, and then there's a, whatever, and then the day starts going. But that's my nudge. Like if I took 2 hours each morning before I got going.
Nice. Yeah, because I find I wake up around 5, and when I get up out of bed and I start my day, and that gives me time to go read, and I need to start limiting my fiction to at night and doing my reading for work stuff in the morning because that's I've kind of laid off of that. Here I wanted to switch to fiction, and now I can't get enough of these stupid series that I'm reading. But when I do that, I notice my whole vibration is different, right? And if we attract what we vibrate, and so for me, if I'm up at 5, that still means that I'm showering at 7 and doing my thing and being ready to go by 8 o'clock. My team knows not to reach out to me before 10. Like I don't want to get caught up in the masculine stuff before 10 o'clock. I just don't. Because that's my really good think time, and I don't want to get into that muggle world. So my mastermind sisters and I have been starting to call it the muggle world and the wizarding world, and I want to stay in the wizarding world as much as possible, right? So yeah, Carmen, what about you? What are some things you do to ground and center? And then remind us of your nudge, your calendar.
Um, I have a dog. I have a dog, and I have to walk him several times a day. And so on the walks is when I'm usually thinking and organizing, and then sometimes just enjoying our walk. And let me see. Oh, I something I do is I try in the morning to say I'm going to get A and B done today. And so I'm about 80%.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm actually working on, it's gotten pushed down a little bit because I'm after my VIP day, I'm shifting a few things, but I'm gonna make some little pads. I wanted to make cards that you could like that I could get you a little stand like this, right? And you could put the card on it. Um, but they're a gazillion dollars to do it that way. It's so amazing to me versus let's just put it on a piece of paper and like pull it off of a rubber pad and you can put it wherever you want to, right? But where it asks you to list out like 3 things of gratitude, what are 3 things you're going to do in your revenue generating today? And then what are 3 things that, at the end of the day that you were proud of and, or action items, sorry, and then gratitude and proud of. So be looking for those soon. But okay, so thank you for sharing with me though, because one of the things that if you've had the nudge, I would ask, what's maybe gotten in the way? I'm resisting journaling because I'm resisting writing the book. I know that.
Do you know what you want to write the book about?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what the title will be yet. Carrie Snyder gave me the best idea to do it because it's really kind of my memoir, but I want it to be fiction, but it's really going to be more factual than fiction. Because my mama's heart, and it's gonna showcase 7 different relationships, and they're not going to be necessarily in chronological order of my life, but they'll be really my life, and they'll have different names. And at the end of the book, it will draw it all together to let people know it was the same relationship, right? Like, and dealing with mental health and bipolar and all that kind of stuff, right? And
Mhm.
so, yeah, so I think there's a piece of me that knows when I go into that, I'm going to be digging into some shadow work, and it's like, I don't know if I want that, right? Bitch, please. That's what we always say. Like,
Right.
but what might be getting in the way?
Of
Like,
grounding, of
of
like,
the
No, you're
nuts that
not.
you have. Like you had nature and whatever with a question mark that made me believe that maybe that was your nudge, or Carmen, you getting into your
yeah.
calendar, or Shireen, you spending the 2 hours. Like, what's getting in the way for you?
I chose up as that's ridiculous. Like, who has time for that?
Yeah.
Mine is partially weather. It's too freaking hot outside here. I want to be in nature, but I want to be comfortable. So I'm a little bit of a princess.
Do you have
Um,
any like I'm thinking about in Kansas City, we have these excuse me, these gardens that were in these like big domes. I forget what they call them, but like where you go in and they,
arboretums.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you have any of those around you?
There's one, but I mean, given how hot it is outside, it would be just as hot inside. I don't imagine they air condition those, right?
I
Because the
don't
sun
know.
comes
I've been
in.
to some where it like they try to keep it at a certain temperature, so it's like
I
not
think
as
I think
humid.
a pool party is in nature. You go to
I
pools.
go to the pool. I do
I
go
would
to the
agree.
pool.
I would agree.
Um, yes, but my biggest issue with going outside and being, well, the water part is that there's not good water near me. Next year will be a different story.
Right?
Um, but
Okay.
nature, it's just too blazing hot
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Just a
So,
tiny thing. We put in a new lawn at one of our rental properties, and we have to hand water it because there's no sprinkler. But I end up for like the 10 days that it's acclimating. But I ended up, I've been doing it barefoot just to like stand in the grass. And
Mhm.
if it's the shaded portion, it's because we're 105 and humid. Um, so I don't know. And I let a little splash get on me. I wear clothes, I don't care, But you could maybe just ground in grass for
yeah, there is
2
truth to that.
minutes.
Yeah. And I will tell you, like, as an example, I forgot about this. So I have a grounding mat that's
Mhm.
plugged into a grounded plug-in. and I sit on it in the summer. I used to put my feet on it and I'm like, that's kind of gross. And then I used to put it up on the table, so my hands, and I thought, why don't I just sit on it? And it does ground me, right? Because we don't stand in the grass barefoot anymore a lot of times.
Yeah,
We
and
all,
there was something I liked about the squishiness of the wet
yeah,
grass
totally.
too. Like it was just a
Totally.
different
Um,
sensation.
okay, so we have, this is ridiculous. I don't have time for that. We've got the weather is not good, which REI would say there's no bad weather, it's just bad clothing. And only when it's so hot.
I can't take my skin off.
And then Carmen, what would you say gets in your way of interacting with your calendar more? Because really it's the feeling that you get about being more organized and stuff, that what I'm hearing you say, right? But yeah.
Right. What gets in the way? Um, just not turning around and literally doing that. Oh, let me do this first, and then I just lose track.
So do you think it's resistance to getting organized,
Yeah.
or is it, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. And so then you got to ask yourself the question, like, what's the resistance about? Right? Like, what's the fear of getting organized? And
Uh-huh.
sometimes, and this goes for all of us, sometimes it's that, like we can't stay in our story. And that's why we don't do it, right? Like, and believe you me, I understand this, right? Because I do it too. And so I would just investigate that for all of you a little bit, right? Because I always say, look at your checkbook and look at where you spend your time, and that will tell you the priorities that you have. And so if in fact you want to carve out 2 hours, maybe you start out with an hour until that doesn't feel like
I
it.
do some days of it, like for me, so it's something in the realm of what you were talking in with Carmen of that it's something in that realm of I'm too busy, or if I do this, I'm going to mess up over here, or it's the story of if I don't keep juggling, all the balls are going to drop, you know. But I've also done 2 hours, more than once, and the world doesn't end. I'm not that important. That, those balls are still right there, when I come back.
And I think it's important, Shireen, and for all of us to look at, okay, when I do get in nature, when I interact with my calendar, when I spend, regardless of the time, but I do the things that I want to do in the morning to ground and feel relaxed as I go into my day. How does my day go? And then track the days you don't. Like I accidentally did that a couple weeks ago with this AO scanner, right? Like I was scanning myself every day and I felt really grounded and really like, And then I went 3 days without doing it. And that was the day that I was like, excuse my French, but I was like, fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm going back to a W-2 job. I'm like, I was in this like roar, like nobody wanted to be around me. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? Who am I? Right. Like it was like the devil, like on those scary movies, like, right. And I was like, oh my God, like I haven't done that for 3 days. Now I got a lot of things happening with the London trip, with, like a lot of things that were up in the air, all kind of settled, but I found that that was helping me so much to stay grounded and feel grounded, that then when I didn't do it for 3 days, I was back up in that like fight or flight mode, and my cortisol was going crazy and I wasn't sleeping, like it was just this kind of feeling. And so start to notice if you're doing the things that you feel nudged to do, even if it's putting your feet in the grass, Pam, or if it's, I don't know, but hopefully it's going to start cooling down here pretty soon. But, whatever that is for you, like think about how does my day go? And track that against maybe days that you don't do it and see if there's a difference, right? It's that whole E2 squared book, because we will find evidence for things. Because like me going skiing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, if I lived in Kansas City, I'd be like, it's too cold. Well, now I just have long underwear and I put those heater things in my hands and I'm like, yeah, it's a different lifestyle, right? Like it's a different
Mhm.
modality. Yeah. Shireen, what were you going to say?
Um, I don't know what I was going to say, but also, Pam, I had a vision of, I don't know if you like the beach and the sand, but you could get like a
Uh-huh.
little bucket of sand to put your feet. I was like, oh, that's what it is. Grounding in sand counts like grass or not. I don't know. That's one
I
For
thing I like
me,
the
sand is
beach.
grounding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like digging my feet down in that sand on the
I
beach.
think you go buy a cat litter, one of those cheap cat litter boxes,
Yeah.
and you go get some sand and put it in there and like stick it out in your garage or something and go sit in your lawn chair.
Yeah. And put your fan on you and get a little, get some little umbrellas for your cocktail or whatever you,
Stick your
lemonade.
finger in your trash dispenser thing that your team got you. Right? Now, I say that and we are joking, but there is something about it because mindfully we're doing something mindful, right? Like it may not be the sand, it may not be the grass, but we're doing something with the intention of slowing down. And sometimes, folks, it's just doing nothing more than box breathing. Count to four as you inhale, count to four as you pause, count to four as you exhale, count to four as you pause, right? And doing that 2 or 3 times helps take you out of this I screw them up. So if I screw it up, just bear with me. The parasympath, it gets you into your parasympathetic, right? Like so that you're not in this like chaos moment. Okay, enough on
There's
that.
a silly movie I watched. It's not an awesome movie, but I really like the takeaway. And I think it's called Mindfully or Mindfulness or whatever. And it's this silly little thing. But he's always like, I am cooking my breakfast now. I am only cooking my breakfast now. And whatever his whole life, it's I murdered somebody and I'm only murdering somebody now. It wasn't that, but there has been something that comes to me frequently. And anytime I do just focus on the one thing right in front of me and just kind of block all the other stuff, that has grounded a lot.
Yeah, and Shireen, that's an example. We're going to talk more about this in September about being present, right? Because when we try to multitask, we're just doing everything shit. But when you're
I'm gonna
present,
write that multitask equals all shit.
that's the shit about
Well, I mean,
it.
think about it. How many times do you watch a movie or watch TV and you're playing on your phone and then you're like, oh crap, what'd they say?
Yeah.
You can't. Your body can't
Yeah.
do two things at once.
Like my nudge has been to do something that I'm going to do in front of all you because I downloaded this stupid Monopoly game. It's dumb and it wastes so much of my time. Remove the app, delete the app.
Oh, yay. In real time.
Did
I just
it.
did that with three. I had three games on mine that I was doing. And I realized, I actually journaled about this on Sunday. You can look at your time on your phone and see how much time you spent on any one app. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I think last week I spent 20 hours on social media. 20. I'm like, think of all the things I could have done
Yeah. And that's
in
the
that
All
time,
the
awareness.
sand you could have put your toes in.
right?
And let's think about this, right? Because that takes you away from being present. And when you're present, yes, because your story is time just like mine, right? And so then I was looking at that too, and I'm like, it's like a dopamine hit. Like I wake up in the morning, I'm
Mhm.
like, oh shit, I gotta open my Monopoly and make sure nobody's like ruined my landmarks. Who the fuck cares? Right? Like it's just ridiculous. And so, but
Sucks you in.
these things are designed, right, to get these dopamine hits going. So kind of look at some of those things too, right? Are there things that we're doing? Like if I get up, I did this morning. I was like, oh, I didn't get home till 2:30, so I need to lay in bed till my alarm goes off at 7. I woke up at 5. And then I did fall back to sleep till about 5:30, but I watched the stupid Bachelor in Paradise. And so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch that. It was on last night, right? And I'm like, why did I sit there and put all that junk in my head first thing, right? Like when I would have felt so much better had I just gotten up and read and like done my thing. So just start to be aware. Don't beat yourself up about them, but like be aware of those things, right? Because the grounding and centering is important. Okay, so now the question that I want to ask you is what are you doing every day to generate revenue? And sometimes it's leading a team with vision, right? Moving away obstacles so that they can generate the revenue. Sometimes it's you generating the revenue. It could be collecting on AR. It could be being at a conference, Carmen. It could be collecting on your AR.
And it's daily, like we do it daily.
Yeah, and it
For
doesn't
the
have to
most
be
part,
the
maybe
same
like,
task every
yeah.
day. That's not what I mean, but like, what are some activities that you do, like reaching out to people, being part of networking groups? What are some things that you do on a fairly, like it's not something you do once a quarter, right? But it's like things that you're doing to generate revenue.
Mhm.
I've been interacting all week and
Exactly.
getting
Right.
commitment for people scheduling mediations with me.
Yep. Absolutely. That's a total generation of revenue, Carmen. That's awesome. And sometimes there are like condensed times because you're at a thing, right? Like I know when I go to this equine therapy thing, the gal that's running the thing's already asking me about the mastermind and talking to me about the mastermind. So I'm going to be talking to her, right? Like, and you go and you meet all of these different people and it creates momentum. So take a minute and jot that down.
Mm.
And have any of you, like when I said that, did any of you struggle with like, oh, I gave you a lot of examples. I should have shut up first. But like, do you struggle sometimes with like, what's generating revenue? What can I do to generate revenue? Like, does that bog you down at all?
So when you
For me,
said,
it's the,
go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, for me, it's recognizing that it, now that I'm removing myself from a lot of the client work, right? Like I'm not the one doing the work that generates the revenue, but I'm the one bringing in the leads, doing the discovery calls, doing the sales and
Yep.
the engagement letters and, talking to clients when their whole world has shifted and they need, like to keep them on board and to keep them, like thinking about it in terms of all the other things that I do that help. Even if it
Absolutely.
doesn't bring in revenue today, it will eventually turn into
Totally.
revenue.
Totally. And Pam, when you lead a team, right? And this goes for all of you because you have people working for you. When you lead a team, sometimes it's not you doing the day-to-day work, but you're doing the things to support or empower or hold the space for that person to do that work, right? That's revenue
Mhm.
generating. Now, the reason I asked you that is I wanted to show you a quick little thing that I did. So I went out and I said, okay, Willow, that's my chat GPT's name, by the way. I said, create for
Chat
me.
Chat GPT went crazy and rogue on me this week.
Do you have the paid version or the regular?
The paid.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Um, but I went out and I said, okay, what are some boots on the ground, like actions that people can take to produce revenue? Here's what it came up with. Reach client outreach and follow up. I liked how it kind of categorized things. Reach out to 5
Mhm.
clients, follow up with any open proposals, send DMs or voice messages, create a hot 10 list of leads that you've lost touch with, check your accounts receivable, offer early renewal discounts or bonuses to people, right? Um, I guess I kind of did that with you. Carmen, I told Pam and Shireen if they signed up again next year, I'm going to have people pay their own hotel room. So I guess I threw an early thing out there. If you signed up again next year, I pay for your room. But anyway, then there's social media sales actions like post something, go live on social media, right? And you may not do a ton of social media, but sometimes your businesses, it's more about educating. It's going out to Chat GPT and saying, please create for me a short newsletter that I can post on LinkedIn about the importance of having a good mediator to help you through a divorce or a conflict and throwing it out on LinkedIn, right? Something like that, because part of this is it's about saving you time and being able to disperse your energy in a way that gives you the best bang for your buck, right? Then networking and relationship building, right? Like certain things to do. I've talked about testimonials before. If you want to get a testimonial, ask somebody if you can take the conversations you've had with them, throw it into ChatGPT and say, write a 4-sentence testimonial. And then ask the person, can I use this testimonial with your name? Because think about it, you've all been asked for testimonials from me. And unless Tracy's the one gathering them on something, like they're a pain in the ass to create, right? So, and I like to use this little dictate button down here because you can speak into it. Then it talks about visibility, right? Like educating people about stuff, looking at your processes, right? Auditing some of your processes. And I love this schedule revenue time, right? Like where you're only doing revenue generating activities during that time. And I look at this too. And a coach I had last year said she always liked to have a date with her money every quarter, right? And kind of went into like, where am I holding back? Where am I thinking scarcity? I need to create, if you needed to do a budget or input your mileage, whatever, right? Like things around your money to do that too, right? So then the other thing I went out and I said, okay, like if you were going to create a post for something, I don't know how many of you knew this, that you can pull in other people's brand voices, right? And I was doing this as an for people. So some of you recognize some of these names, some of you don't. Like Andrea Franco's, who I just went for the VIP day. Amira is an old coach. Pam knows Amira, and so does Carmen. David Nagel is someone that I follow who actually was Amira's coach. And it tells you, here's their brand voice. So I put out there, create a post and use my brand voice along with Andrea Franco's brand voice and Amira Alvarez's brand voice. Oh, and add some David Nagel in there too, that talks about the importance of manifestation and the universal law of abundance. So then it tells me what their brand voice is, right? What I love about Andrea's is it's about urgency too, right? So it creates this post for me then, and I can go out and cut and paste it, add emoji, like, and then I can make changes to it. But I want you to do whatever you can with Chat GPT to help create time in your schedule. I use it to meal plan. Okay,
I
Willow.
love it to meal plan.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm like, okay, Willow, I have 2 salmon steaks. I've got a steak and ground chicken in my refrigerator, along with an artichoke, 2 ears of corn on the cob, and some lettuce. Create a 5-day meal plan for me, and I don't mind having leftovers for lunch. Bam. Then I
Oh
said,
yeah,
oh,
and then
God,
you can get a shopping list and a like calorie
recipes.
count if you want it,
Yeah.
macros,
Yep.
recipes, whatever.
Absolutely. And I put in dairy free, all my shit, right? So use this tool to help you save time, whatever it is that you do. Now, my sister loves to meal plan, so that is not something she's going to use Chat GPT for. Just not, right? I hate meal planning. As a matter of fact, if I could get Chat GPT to make my meals, I would do that. I had one of the best breakfasts, and it's so simple, and I want to share it with you all. She took ground bison, seasoned it, and then put scrambled eggs and an avocado in it. No carbs. Like, it was beautiful. Awesome, right? So what are some things today? And let me back up. So when you're thinking about revenue generating and you're thinking about social media or marketing, or, like Pam, I'm even thinking of like, hey, write a newsletter explaining, or write a little thing of explaining what I do, introducing me again to my LinkedIn audience, with a call to action that if they know someone that could use our services, or um, whatever, right? Like, throw that in there and it creates this thing. Now, I'm not saying you're going to copy and paste everything exact. Now, sometimes ChatGPT is pretty good, and I've used almost word for word. I go in and put some of my own personal stories in it. I use it for my podcast these days. Write a 35-minute script. I find it's usually about 10 minutes shorter than what it really is. So write me a 35-minute script about blah, blah, blah. Use my brand voice and this with a call to action, intro, whatever, and it pops it out. I go in and I add my stuff. I change some words because sometimes the words are a little off. But think about how much time that will save you in comparison to you trying to come up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Andrea asked me for a testimony on the VIP. So I went out to ChatGPT. I don't know if you noticed my post, but that was all ChatGPT. I put in there what I got out of it. Like, the more you put in the prompts, the better off you are with it, right? So anywhere that you're struggling with anything to generate revenue, hey, Willow, I'm struggling going about my AR and taking the time to collect it. I know I'm resisting it because it feels like conflict. Help me resolve the conflict in my mind, and provide for me a schedule where I can catch up on 50 accounts that I need to catch up on the AR over a 4-week period of time. It's going to provide that to you. Yeah, you can choose to follow it or not. Talk to it like it's human. I can't believe I just said that. I have one friend that uses it as a counselor.
But I will say, so I had a original contract and then a revised contract, and there should only be one change in the contract, but I didn't want to sign until I reviewed everything. So I gave ChatGPT both of them and summarized the changes. It made up shit that's not even in the contract.
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
I mean, like crazy. But it's actually one of those like, in a weird way, I'm like, is it divine intervention? Because for a minute I was super excited because the terms were really cool. And I was like, that's awesome. These change, I didn't request these, but but it was all made up. But in the end, I'm like, I can't sign the contract because Chat GPT's version is more in line with what I need, and the contract is not that.
Awesome.
And bottom line is they're contributing 300,000, but having control over a $2.5 million property of mine, I'm like, that's too out of whack.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it just make up stuff like that. That's not even, and so I would talk to it like a human,
Yeah.
and then it kept apologizing and talking like a human back. But I'm like, you're just wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I always say, take a look at it. Don't just copy and paste
And
directly.
these are different, like that's a contract, like that's very cut dry. The stuff
Yeah.
you're talking about has a lot of room for interpretation
Absolutely.
and the ways it's phrased. And
So I want you to think about all those things that you do that are revenue generating. And I'd like for you to share a few of them. What do you do that's revenue generating?
for me, the first one I put on, and it is the lion's share of our revenue, they're called OTAs. So like your Verbo, Airbnb, like those ads bring in the lion's share of our revenue. And so then I kind of had a little pause, like, oh, what else are you doing? Is there too much of a reliance on that one thing? Then I did put, connect with people. And then I did, like when you said create momentum, kind of building that web. And then I more went into just kind of gathering opportunities as you spoke and others spoke of. And so another one that I think would be really good is follow up and follow through. We don't have a really good system, and there can be the perception of like, oh, you can't do that with Airbnb clients or people you don't own the content, but you can. And so what would that look like? And then a
Yeah.
referral program, like maybe we incentivize people for referrals.
Yeah. 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 Because that was my next question. I'm going to ask that of both Carmen and Pam too. So thank you, because I couldn't have paid you enough to go down that. But like thinking about what bogs you down right now from doing maybe some things that are revenue generating that you're not doing. So Pam or Carmen, what are you doing for revenue generation? Carmen's at her retreat.
I mean, most of what I do is marketing and the sales process, and then the rest of it is basically, um, supporting my team so that they can keep giving, stellar service, so we keep the recurring revenue that we have.
How's the
So those
sale
are.
of the business going? How the two guys?
So I've been slow rolling it because our revenue keeps going down, and it just looks bad, right? Like I'm not ready to put that out there because it will just, the people that are looking to buy my business are looking at it from a perspective of how much cash obviously is there left over, and it's a multiple of that, right? And so the multiple's getting smaller as the revenue goes down, right? It was like we thought we were going to do 1.2, then it was like, oh, 1.17. Now we're at like 1.08. We're like, it's going down. I'm like, oh. But it's, we're just about to hit that swing, right? Like I just know it, and it's so I've just been kind of slow rolling all of it, and
Yeah. Well, good.
um
When you and I talked, we were talking about kind of slow rolling it a little bit. I just wasn't sure where, sorry, I
yeah,
digressed.
I'm slowing it even further because until I can show some,
Is the
especially some
HR,
HR revenue.
lost Carmen, is the
I
HR
don't,
stuff starting to pop?
not yet. I had a discovery call today that I said that we also have fractional HR, and they were like, oh, well, when you send us proposal, make sure you include like what the options are for HR. So that was good. I figure
And
if
does it work well in your business? I just don't know. Some business models it does and some it doesn't, to add a little bit of urgency. And what I mean by that is, like, hey, we want to get you signed up, but like, so if you want this, we got to look at it within the next couple of months because we've got another person onboarding and, like anything like that. Would that help move the decisions faster?
maybe it really depends on the person, right? A lot of times they're more urgent than I am, right? They want it right now. And I'm like, okay, well, we need to gather a little bit more information and figure out if we're a good fit and, you know, whatever. Um, and for anybody who's shopping on price alone, like, well, number one, if they're shopping on price alone, they're probably not our ideal client. But like they would jump potentially at like a discount, but then they're also like, okay, well, if the discount's for 1 year, then the next year it's just going to go up, and then, you know. So I've played with all those kinds of things, but I haven't found anything that really seems to move the needle at all.
So, uh, I don't know the trigonic per se, but I did have this hold up of like you were saying, like making sure it's a good match, and I have a little bit now of like I can just go with it. I can always pivot later. You know, like I don't have to. I wondered if the vetting for me was actually productive or fear-based, you know, delay tactic, you know. And so it's like you're not marrying them, they're not for life. I can fire a client, a client may leave, you know. So I have a little bit less that I go into. It has to be a perfect fit or a really good fit. And a little bit more
Yeah,
of
I think for me, it's saving face with the team, right? Like I don't want to keep bringing like bad fit clients. So like I've committed to them that I would bring them the right fit clients, right? And so if I were to just show up with like, ah, they're not great, but they're here and they're paying, right? They would get really sick of that really quickly if they.
I don't want like shitty clients, but
Yeah,
I'm
let me
open to not as deep of a dive.
Yeah, let me time out here for because I
Yeah.
think what I'm hearing is it's I don't need the perfect client, and there's
Yeah.
the science and art of also making sure that you're utilizing the law of sacrifice and you're saying yes to the hell yeses, right? And but not everything has to be perfect, right? And
Right.
that's kind of what I'm hearing Shireen say is I went from this perfection, everybody had to meet every little box in this to, oh, you know what? 75% is still the client that we want, right? And I'm okay with that. And kind of that same thing, and maybe taking a look at Pam, if you're slowing the roll, is it because like is there a learning there that you have the questions ready to go that you ask them that beforehand so that then you can close like when you're closing on the accounting part of it, you can close on the HR thing at the same time. I don't know, just something to throw out there.
Oh yeah, no, what I was saying is that like by throwing the HR stuff into the discovery call for the accounting, right? I'm hoping to land more HR that way with new clients coming in the door.
Excellent.
Because the old clients, while they need it, most of them have found an alternative, right?
Right.
Because we didn't offer it. So they have found another alternative. So to switch now, they're if they have a problem or if they have a pain point, they might switch. But if not, you know, so we're just going to keep putting it in front of them so they keep seeing it. We have to figure out how to do that exactly. But and then um on the with the new clients, it's a lot easier to be like, well, we also offer fractional HR. And if you have a team, obviously you have HR needs. So we can meet you wherever you're at, just like accounting
Yeah.
on that front. And so I'm hoping that helps. The HR person is starting to go to networking events in the evenings that are aimed at our target industries.
Good, good.
Um, so that's going to be good. We're doing a lot of LinkedIn posting.
Yeah.
Um, if y'all see my post, feel free to give it a like, give me a little boost.
Yeah, no, that's a good ask that we should
Um,
go out and do that. And actually in the WhatsApp, go out and ask people, hey, can you go out to LinkedIn and pull up my profile and just interact and do a couple likes or comments on my LinkedIn as support.
Yeah, because the more it gets interacted with, the more it gets thrown into the algorithm, right? So,
Yeah, so ask that of both your past mastermind sisters and all of us right now.
okay.
Okay. Okay, ladies. Thank you. Good
Oh,
call.
we're already at 5 o'clock.
I know. Pretty amazing when you're having fun. Any questions that you guys have about London other than Shireen? I'm not going to put you on the task list, but I'm going to get on Joni and Tracy that by the end of this week, we need your ETA finalized and your O2 thing finalized. All right, Tay, because it's just around the corner.
I know it. I know it.
I
It's
can't
like
wait.
a month, just barely over a month now.
Well, not even that.
We
Oh,
leave
I leave
on
on the
8th,
8th.
right?
I leave on the 8th, yeah.
9th,
You're
8th,
right.
9th, whatever.
I am. Excuse me, with being out
Bless you.
in August, I think my mind is like warped out on that. So, okay, I'm going to drink my liquid collagen now. I started taking liquid collagen and it's really helping. So, okay, see
Nice.
you later, Gators.
Bye.